Sup, guys? So back with you. Better Off Dead Friday, May 23rd. Yesterday, 1-3 on the show. Really not a good showing by my picks. Which, of course, as I keep pointing out, I'm not betting at the moment. I'm only giving out the picks, which are what I would be betting if I wasn't trying to conserve some money right now. And yesterday, one of those days where I'm not exactly sad that I didn't actually have money on the games, but I'm sad that I'm not giving out good picks right now. A couple of days ago, I killed it with a 4-0 sweep. Since then, not great. Minnesota T-Wolves, I thought it was the right spot for them to bounce back. That didn't happen. Oklahoma City was just winning by margin most of the game. It looked like maybe they were going to take their foot off the gas late, and maybe Minnesota would get in there in the back door, which is not getting in the back door is really not the way that you want to go with these underdog covers, but I will take it if it happens. It did not happen, though. Carolina, I'll have to dig into that box score because it was just a blowout win for Florida again. I think Florida's going to win another Stanley Cup here, the way it's looking right now, which is what I do have in my, that is what I do have in my bracket, so I did predict that, but kind of shocking that it's 0-2 for Carolina right now after losing both games at home, or they're really good at home. Pretty shocking result there. We did get the win on the Indiana Fever in the WNBA yesterday, barely, as they did have points where they were winning that game by margin, and they kept letting it slip, and then made a push at the end. I think maybe some intentional fouls happened, and they got it done, not in the easiest way, but that was a winner. And then Seattle Mariners basically did what the Astros did the previous game, and we got a 2-0 lead right out of the gate. It's like, all right, this is looking good. We're off to a good start here, and then the implosion happens. Neither starter did well in that game, and the Seattle bullpen just really did not get it done at all. So that was bad call by me. We move on to today, where hopefully I have some better calls. I'm going to have a play in the hockey game, WNBA, one play. I'm not going to have a play in the NBA game, and Major League Baseball, 2 plays, being very selective here. NBA Pacers Knicks game 2. Of course, the zigzag would sort of dictate that, well, the Knicks should be the spot here. They are up from 5.5 to 6 with juice now. And, of course, there isn't really line value on the Knicks here with a line like that because the books know about the zigzag. So if the home favorite loses in game 1, if they are the better team, which I think it's questionable which one of these teams is better. I think they're fairly evenly matched. Usually that team will come out and play better. The Knicks can't fall down 0-2 at home. So, yeah, obviously they have to show up with a huge effort and win this game. Yes, they lost the previous game, but how many adjustments do they have to make? Because the zigzag, well, I'm all over the place in my mind. Hang on a minute. The zigzag is based off of the team that didn't do as well in game 1 making adjustments. If there was a lopsided result in game 1, you kind of expect some adjustments to be made and regression back to some sort of mean. But, of course, as I was pointing out the line value here, the Knicks were a 4.5-point favorite in game 1, so now they're at 6, looking like 6.5. Not really much line value here because, again, the books know about this zigzag phenomenon, so they're moving the line to account for that, because you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, if the Pacers won game 1, how are the Knicks favored by more in game 2? Well, that's how it happens now. So I just don't think we can actually come in and play the Knicks. I might lean that way. 53% of tickets, 73% of cash coming in on the Knicks. Market read is on the Knicks. If you do like the Knicks, definitely do not let it get to 7. You got to lay at least below 7 here, because 7 is a key-ish number in basketball, where when a team is up or down 7, the intentional fouls stop, and it's the 3-possession threshold, so that's kind of the key number there. But I don't even know if the zigzag phenomenon is that strong in this one. Obviously, I'm not going to be shocked if the Knicks win and cover this game. The Knicks, it was similar to kind of what the Celtics did against the Knicks in their first 2 games. Not that I want to talk about that series again, but the Knicks had a big lead in that game. They were up by, I think, almost 20 points in the third quarter of that game. Completely imploded. The Pacers hit a ton of threes. The Knicks were still winning by double digits. I think they were winning by 11 with 3.5 minutes left, and then they were still winning by 9 in the final minute and lost the game. So that does tell you that the Knicks were the better team for the majority of the second half, and they just kind of inexplicably blew it. But it went into overtime, and if you blow a lead like that, I don't know, man. If it's kind of a closer series like that. Like with the Celtics, I was more inclined to lay the points in game 2, which I did, and unfortunately that was not a win. Celtics had a second straight implosion after having a huge lead. But I was more inclined to do that because there was more of a gap between the Knicks and the Celtics. Celtics were the significantly better team. Of course, then we didn't know how severe their injury situation was, but they still did have Tatum at that point. And we just thought Porzingis was dealing with like an illness or whatever. So I think it made more sense there because we're talking about here, the Knicks had an implosion against a team that is really competitive with them. I think that's kind of a game where it's like, how do you get back up off the mat after that? After you blew a game like that, it could be a game that kind of sticks you and kind of hangs you over for the next game. So I don't know if I particularly love it, which is why I'm staying away from it here. But yes, there are certain aspects of this that do say that the Knicks probably should have a better game here. I mean, the Knicks, again, they're winning in the crucial moments of that game by huge margins and inexplicably blew it. The Pacers, again, they hit a ton of threes, and they're probably not going to hit as high a percentage of their threes in this game, so you'll probably see a little bit of a regression there, even though, yes, I know the Knicks were one of the worst teams at defending the threes, so that's not a great sign for the Knicks either, so you can see why I'm not going to recommend a play on this game. I lean slightly to the Knicks laying the points, but I'm not going to recommend doing it. And the total's down from 227 to 224.5. 71% of tickets on the over, only 50% of the cash on the over, of course. And again, the zigzag would dictate that because game 1 was so high scoring, game 2 probably should be less high scoring. Yeah, the Pacers want to play really fast, so the Knicks kind of allowed that to happen in game 1, and they're probably going to try to not allow that in game 2. They're going to try to get back to playing more physical, slowing the game down, you would expect, which could be a reason why the under does make sense here. But I don't love unders in game 2, man, especially after an overtime game in game 1. I mean, you're looking at teams that could be some tired defenses here. Of course, tired legs doesn't mean three-pointers might not be falling either, but it does mean the defenses might not be as good either. So I'm hesitant to recommend an under in this game as well. And the total has dropped quite a bit as well, so some line value is gone there. Andrew, what's up, man? Thanks for hanging out. That's probably all I would have to say on that, although I will say I just mentioned once in a while that for player props, if you're a player prop guy, which I'm really not, the zigzag also does apply to player props usually. So if a guy had like a huge game in game 1, kind of expect a little bit of a drop-off in game 2, or if like a key player didn't play well in game 1, you probably want to play like on an over of theirs or something like that and play them to do better in game 2. So I think the Pacers, one of their guys was ridiculous from three-point range in game 1. I think it was Nesmith, maybe. I forget. One of their players I think he was 8 for 9 from three-point range. I forget who it was, but whichever player that was, if you want to play his point total under in game 2 to zigzag in the prop market, that would make sense as well. Because 8 for 9 is just absurd. I mean, that's not going to happen again. All right, NHL. I am going to recommend playing game 2 between Edmonton and Dallas, and I'm going to recommend Edmonton as an underdog here at plus 100. The line is moving. Dallas down from minus 125 to minus 112. So, yeah, Dallas was about minus 130 or so in game 1. I didn't recommend Dallas as a play, but I gave Dallas out as a lean on the show in game 1. Kind of wish I recommended it as a play because it was right. But I think that game was a little bit misleading. So even though you're getting a little bit less line value on Edmonton here, if you're still getting them as an underdog price or a really short price, I think it does make sense to play on the zigzag spot here with Edmonton. 58% of tickets, 66% of the cash coming in on Edmonton. Yeah, Edmonton has been a bit public because they have, Connor McDavid. They are one of the best scoring teams in hockey, so that's what the public loves. But after seeing game 1, it seems like the public might be a little bit less off of them, and I think this is the spot to actually come in and play Edmonton to even up the series. I think this could be a 7-game series here. I mean, this looks like a pretty evenly matched series. Game 1 was actually crazy, and I think it was misleading. As you're going to look at the final score, Dallas won 6-3. They must have blown out Edmonton, right? Well, not really. Edmonton was winning 3-1 in that game going into the third period, and Dallas tied the game, actually took the lead, and they had a 1-goal lead until late in the game when Sagan, former Bruin, man, kind of wish we had him back, added another goal there to pad the lead, and then they got an empty net at the end, so an empty net factored into the final score as well, making it look a little bit crazier than it was. Also, The number of shots was basically even in the game. Yes, Dallas dominated the face-off percentage, so they did have kind of a possession edge. Edmonton was actually the more physical team with more hits. So this was a statistic. This game, I should say, was statistically close between the two teams. So the actual stats are not representative of what the final score was. So I think the final score in that game was a little bit misleading. And Edmonton, had control of that game for quite a bit. So I think Edmonton, as long as they don't have any bad lapses of goaltending again, like they kind of did in that game, I think Edmonton is the right side there. The money is coming in on them, so that is I'm recommending a play there on the Edmonton side there. I just gotta hope that their goaltending holds up there, or that they score enough this time to kind of overcome that. But I think they're gonna make the adjustments here. I think it's a good spot for them to show up and bounce back in the zigzag again. And the books have moved the line a little bit to accommodate for the zigzag because they know that is a phenomenon again in NBA and NHL. My NHL playoffs have been pretty good so far, man. So, and in these Dallas series lately especially, I don't want to jinx myself here, but I went 5-0 in the Dallas Winnipeg series, playing sides, giving out sides on every game except for one of them. All right, WNBA, we have 3 huge lines here, so I don't know what you could really gain from that. I mean, the Minnesota Lynx, the Dallas Wings almost got revenge against them, kind of, as Dallas actually played a better game against them and played them close the last time. I think Minnesota, having won against them easily once, just didn't take them that seriously. So Minnesota could be in line to put in a better performance in this one, just because they didn't play well in the last game. Connecticut is one of the worst teams this year in the WNBA. So that's why the line is huge, though, because Minnesota is one of the best. They're up from 15.5 to 16, though. I mean, I would probably lay it if I was going to give out any sort of opinion on the game, but I don't really want to. I don't want any part in that. Washington, Las Vegas, almost as big of a line as the Aces are another one of the best teams. Washington, one of the worst, even though they started off 2-0. As I already pointed out, they pulled off one upset, and then they beat Connecticut, who's terrible. So they're not a very good team. Vegas, way better team. But I don't know. Vegas could be in a spot where, I don't know, are they going to overlook Washington a little bit here? I don't know. I mean, they only have Seattle up next. They just beat Connecticut pretty easily. So I don't know. It looks like a spot where it's really hard to gauge anything from it. Vegas up from 14 to 14.5. That's the toughest game to predict. Golden State and the LA Sparks. I would lean probably towards the Golden State side just slightly here because LA did already win at Golden State to open the season, so it is a little bit of a road revenge spot for Golden State. Even though Golden State, they're one of the new teams in the league. They're not very good. But then LA dropped 2 games in a row, and they're coming off a really tough performance against Phoenix, who's a pretty decent team. Phoenix was a 4.5-point favorite in that game, and LA played a horrific third quarter and then came back and played a really good fourth quarter. I mean, the game of quarters there was ridiculous. Phoenix had a really good first quarter. LA had a really good second quarter, had an atrocious third quarter. It was 7 points. I mean, what is Angel Reese playing for them now? I don't know if you saw Angel Reese for the Chicago Sky. God help them. She can't make a shot at all. I mean, she's getting a lot of rebounds, but that's only because she's getting rebounds off of her own misses. It's just insane. There was like one possession where I think she got 5 offensive rebounds on her own shots and still didn't even score. It's ridiculous to watch. I don't know how anybody can actually watch, but if there's money to be made, you could throw some money on the WNBA just for those purposes. And then, of course, LA did have a good fourth quarter in this game, as I was going to say. So they almost came back and won. So they are coming off a tough game, playing a team they already beat once easily on the road. Probably would lean to taking the points with Golden State there. It's down from 11 to 10.5. I don't love getting involved in games with double-digit spreads, though. Let me take Edmonton down here. The one play is going to be on the only competitively lined game here, and that's laying the points with Seattle, which I think is going to be pretty misleading. Like, why is Seattle laying 4.5? Actually, it's up to 5, going through the 5 with juice now. So I think you got to get on this soon. It's probably going to be 5.5. I'm recommending a play on this because, first of all, it looks really misleading because you look at Seattle against Phoenix. Well, Seattle already lost at Phoenix 81 to 59. So you're looking at that, and it's like, how could Seattle be favored by like 5 points here after they lost by whatever that is, 22 to Phoenix the last game? Well, okay. Let's take a look at what was going on there. Phoenix was going to be a 1.5-point favorite in that game. And then I think there were some injuries going on, and Seattle actually went off a 6.5-point favorite. So I think Seattle just came into that game way overconfident, because I think Phoenix must have had players missing that game or something, because I don't know how the line could have moved like that. So I think you're actually getting maybe a little bit of value here. Seattle is a 5-point favorite when they're actually 6.5 on the road, which is hilarious. Although Phoenix, whatever players are missing in that game, probably they have them back for this game. But still, it's just kind of hilarious. So Phoenix actually pulled off an upset in that game and won by 22 points. But if you look at this game, this is a complete outlier of a game. I think you can just completely throw it out. Phoenix shot 51.7% from the field, which is definitely high for a WNBA team, while Seattle shot 33.3% and 17.6% from three. Seattle actually won the turnover battle and still lost the game. And yes, I know Phoenix won the rebounding battle, which is a more predictable stat, sure, so they're probably the better rebounding team, but still major field goal percentage outliers. Like, I don't think Phoenix is going to shoot this well this time, and I don't think Seattle could possibly shoot this poorly again, either from the field or 3-point range. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So I expect some major regression here, just major outlier percentages in that game. I expect a lot of movement back to some sort of mean here. The odds makers are telling you Seattle is the better team. The money is coming in that way, so here's my WNBA handicapping, man. I'm already 2-1 in the WNBA, and I should have given out an actual play on the Lynx in their first game against Dallas, by the way. I leaned that way. I just wasn't sure what was going on with the market, but it was like a dual injured player theory spot, both on the side of the Lynx, so I should have given that out as a play, because that would have been a win, and I'd be 3-1 instead of 2-1, but let's make it 3-1 with the Seattle Storm there. That's going to be that play. Yes, if the sportsbooks cancel me, I would flip out, just out. But here's the thing, though. The sportsbooks, they don't cancel people for wokeness. They will cancel customers that are winning bettors. That's the problem. That's the problem with all this legalization, is like the big guys, DraftKings, whatever, they will not really even cancel you, because they kind of claim, well, we don't cancel anybody, like that type of thing. But what they'll do is, if they pick up that you're a winning bettor and you're constantly like beating the closing line and whatever, they'll limit you like almost they could limit you all the way down to $1 so that you can still bet with them, but you really can't make any money off of them. So that does happen. So you got to figure out ways to get around that. I mean, there are offshore books. I mean, if I wind up like really ramping this up and actually trying to do this like professionally, it's going to be something to really keep an eye out for, something crazy. I mean, right now, the way that I've been betting, I don't bet high enough, like I don't bet substantial enough amounts for them to really care, even though I am up, I think probably in all of those books over that amount of time, I'm up slightly, but at least slightly, because of the last like couple of years since it was legalized. I was like really hot for a while there. Was worried I was going to get banned back then, but if you're only betting like in the area of like 300 or whatever per bet, they don't really pay attention to you. All right. And especially because sometimes I will not beat the closing. I mean, I beat it a decent amount. Like, I do beat it a lot, but I think that some of my bets just seem so strange. And some of them I'm going against the market read and stuff. I'm going to be doing that in baseball once here. So I think some of that kind of throws them off as well, maybe. All right, MLB. I'm going to try to run through this. I know I get autistic and I run through all the MLB games because all the stats. I'm obsessed with the stats, man. It's been that way my whole life. Baltimore and my bus and Red Sox, they got rained out yesterday. It was a really bad weather day yesterday. Just massive thunderstorms, lightning all throughout the night, all day and throughout the night. It was crazy. We'll see if the weather holds up today. It's supposed to be kind of bad for the next few days, but not as bad as yesterday. So they're supposed to play this afternoon, and Kate Povich was going to play yesterday. He was going to pitch for Baltimore. He is slated to pitch game 1 here. I pointed out yesterday, I talked about him yesterday because he was supposed to pitch then. 5.23 ERA, 1.45 whip. None of that is good, but against the Red Sox in 46 at-bats, he does have good numbers. 217 average allowed, 613 OPS. So kind of a mixed analysis there with Povich. It's kind of like, well, do you expect the Povich versus the Red Sox to show up again here? I don't know. And yesterday he was going to go up against Giolito, who has now moved to game 2. Pitching in the night games. Brian Bayo, who was probably going to pitch today's game, is going to pitch in game 1 of this game instead, which I don't know if I don't even think Bayo is better in day games, though. I think he actually might be better in night games, if I'm not mistaken. So Alex Cora, what are you doing, man? I don't even know. I mean, am I wrong about that? This year he has a 6 ERA in day games, 3.39 opponent batting average, night 2.2 ERA and 2.33 opponent batting average. So again, if he's going to pitch one of the games today, why the hell are you pitching him in the day game? What the fuck, dude? Like I knew enough about that. I'm like, wait a minute, Bayo, I know he's terrible during the night, which is true. I think it was the same last year, right? Or he's, terrible during the day. Actually, I'm a little bit wrong about that. I guess he was actually, well, it wasn't that much of a split last year, but this year it has been that way. But last year, I guess he was slightly better during the day, but I really didn't even think that was the case. I seem to remember him being worse during the day and better at night, but whatever the case is, Bayo is pitching. He's a totally untrustworthy pitcher, man. I mean, 4.02 ERA looks decent, but 1.69 whip. I mean, you cannot pitch in the majors and put that many men on base. 1.7 per inning. I mean, really? This month he has a 13-13 strikeout walk ratio. I mean, that is not going to get it done. Plus more hits than innings pitched, I should say. Last 3 outings, he hasn't even made it 5 innings into the game. I mean, talk about bad form. I mean, this guy is in bad form. I don't even know if he's ever in good form. He's a terrible pitcher. I can't stand him. I don't know why the Red Sox ever thought this guy was going to be good. He never will be. Over the course of the season, he has a 20-19 strikeout walk ratio and more than 1 hit per inning as well. So he sucks. And against Baltimore, somehow his numbers aren't that bad in 74 at bats. I mean, the one bad thing is, again, the walk. 16-11 strikeout walk ratio here. 216 average allowed, though, and 615 OPS. But again, it's kind of like both of these starting pitchers have bad numbers overall, but they have good matchup numbers against these specific hitters. But do you trust either one of these guys? I don't. And the total is sitting at 9.5. So odds makers are telling you they're expecting a high-scoring game here. And it's moved up, actually. It was 70% of tickets, 79% of the cash on the over. I might lean towards that and just go against what the matchups tell you and kind of lean towards the over in that one. But I won't do it because I don't love fading the matchup numbers, but I don't think you can trust either starting pitcher here. And I don't think either bullpen is that trustworthy either, even though, yes, they're both rested bullpens after not having pitched yesterday. Red Sox are also down from -125 to -119, 84% of tickets, only 74% of the cash. So the line movement is coming in against the Red Sox, who are public. So public is not going to want to be on Baltimore, even though they broke their loss streak there. Nobody wants any piece of Baltimore. So the money looks like it is coming in on Baltimore, and I don't really think I disagree with that. I think Bayo is just that bad. Cubs at Cincinnati. Neither of these teams played yesterday, so we got some rested bullpens, although both bullpens aren't good. Matthew Boyd against Hunter Green, man. You know, I see a matchup like this, I lean towards Hunter Green. I mean, Matthew Boyd, he's pitching well. 2.98 ERA and 1.23 whip is a little bit high, but he is in pretty good form this month. I mean, in the month of May, he has a 23-0 strikeout walk ratio, so can't really disagree with any of that. I mean, you can't disagree with numbers, but you can't really there's nothing to really dislike about any of that, I should say. I mean, Boyd is pitching well, but against the Cincinnati Reds, I think it's kind of a different story. 16 at-bats. I know it's a small sample size. 3 walks and 3 strikeouts. 312 batting average allowed and 734 OPS. So his numbers aren't terrific against Cincinnati. And I went back and I looked at his numbers at Great American Ballpark, which is a tough park to pitch in. I believe he's made 3 appearances there. I don't know if they're all starts or if some of them are in relief, but he's allowed over 300 batting average to opposing hitters in this ballpark and over 1,000 OPS in this ballpark. So he doesn't do particularly well in this ballpark either. So I think if you're going to play this game, I think you have to fade the Cubs here. And you know the public is going to come in on the Cubs because they have one of the best records in baseball. But you got Hunter Green on the mound for Cincinnati. Yeah, he's coming back from the injury list, the disabled list, whatever. He really hasn't had that much time off, though, and he's so good at this point that I think he should be basically right back to where he was. I mean, I don't think I would have that much hesitation here. I mean, I'm not recommending a play on this, but this was very close to being a play for me. You get the Reds as a home underdog in this game, And the Cubs don't really have that good of a bullpen either. I mean, the Cubs, they have a way better offense than Cincinnati. That's their big advantage, the offense. I think Cincinnati has the way better pitching in this game just because their starting pitcher is better. And the bullpen, I think, is a little bit better as well. As the Cubs' bullpen is just not good. But Hunter Green, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. 2.36 ERA, 0.81 whip. I mean, he was basically elite before he went down to an injury. I mean, he allowed 5 earned runs in this one start against Baltimore. And if you take that out, 3 earned runs or fewer in every other start. That 3 earned run start was actually at Colorado. Tough place to pitch, and he still did well in that start. 8-0 strikeout walk ratio. You take those 2 starts out, he allowed 2 or fewer earned runs in all of his other starts. And if you take his first start of the season out, 1 or fewer earned runs in the remaining 5 starts, I mean, you get it. Really, really good. 61-8 strikeout walk ratio is insane. Only 29 hits allowed in 45 2/3. Really high strikeout rate. Great strikeout to walk ratio. Not allowing a lot of hits. Hunter Green, again, elite. He's the best starting pitcher on the Reds. Is he ready to go again after being off? He hasn't been off for that long. He's been off for a couple of weeks, which, yeah, I mean, it'll throw you out of your rhythm a little bit, but he's good enough that I think he'll just be right back to form here. And yes, I know he is facing a really good lineup, so that is one thing to be a little bit concerned about. So got to bring up what are his stats against. Why did that not work? What? What? I don't even know what's going on here. Dude, I hate it when people are, when pitchers are off. Oh, it did come up. It just doesn't come up in the tabs. When pitchers have been off, ESPN takes away the batter versus pitcher tab, which I don't understand why they do that. All right, Hunter Green against the Chicago Cubs. 77 at bats, so a big sample size. The walk number's concerning, 10 walks to 22 strikeouts. Other than that, he's allowed a 208 average. 740 OPS is a little bit high because he's allowed 4 home runs. Suzuki hits him well specifically, 6 for 13 with 2 home runs. But besides him, nobody else on the Cubs really does a lot of damage against him. So one guy in the lineup hitting you well, I think you can pitch around that pretty easily. So I like the Reds in that game. And it looks like actually the cash is coming back towards me. Should I add a play on the Reds here? I kind of think I should, to be honest. Cubs flip from a plus 100 dog to a minus 107 favorite. 62% of tickets are coming in on the Cubs. 53% of the cash coming back in on the Reds. I'm going to add this play on the fly, man. It was almost a play for me. You know what? Whatever. Let's have some fun. Let's do it. The money looks like it is agreeing with me now. Cubs, they're going to be the public team. Plus, you're looking at a Cubs team. Public is only going to be on the Cubs because the public loves teams that hit well. Team with a way better record. Looking at a team with a below 500 record for the Reds. Let's go. This is going to be the day of playing teams at exactly even money at plus 100, man. That's what Cincinnati's at right now. We got Edmonton plus 100, Cincinnati plus 100. I'm going to give out another Major League Baseball money line that's also plus 100 in a minute here. So Cincinnati Reds, I'm going to recommend that as a play. It looks like the money is agreeing with it at this point. So let's add that one in there. Milwaukee, Pittsburgh. Best pitching matchup of the day, man. It's somewhat, it's not that often that you see a pitching matchup and you kind of cream your pants a little bit and go, whoa, this is going to be a good pitching matchup. It's just unfortunate that both of these teams have horrific bullpens, and they both kind of used their bullpens yesterday. So the bullpens, the bullpens throw this whole thing into doubt here. But, you can see the total is really low in this game for a reason in Milwaukee, Pittsburgh, because it's Freddie Peralta against Paul Skeens. And if you like the under in this game, it's sitting at 7, juice to the under, and it looks like it's falling down to 6.5. So very, very low total. 76% of tickets, only 72% of the cash on the under, though. So, it's no surprise. No secret how good these pitchers are, especially Skeens at this point. So actually, it looks like less of the cash on the under right now. I would not play this under 6.5, though. You're leaving no room for error there, and the bullpens could certainly absolutely annihilate your bet. So, under first 5 innings, maybe the way to look here if you do want to play this game, but you're probably having to go about under 3 because the books know how good these starting pitchers are. So, under 3, again, there's really no room for error there, and Milwaukee can definitely hit. Pittsburgh cannot, but will Milwaukee do enough damage against Skeens? I don't know. It's a really tough call. You're really tightrope walking there if you're going to play the under at all. But I still wouldn't want to play an over in this game either, though. So This is a stay away from me. I think the line is basically right where it should be on the total here. Pittsburgh is actually a slight favorite as well because Skeens is pitching, but the cash percentage coming back in on Milwaukee, 76% of the cash, 55% of tickets. I mean, Milwaukee, if Peralta is able to duel Skeens well enough in this game and it goes down to the bullpens, it's anybody's guess. I mean, Milwaukee's bullpen is terrible, but their offense is way better. So their offense might be able to win out because Pittsburgh's bullpen's not good either. Pittsburgh down from -125 to -123. So money is coming in and fading Paul Skeens, which I wouldn't really want to do that either. But Freddie Peralta, 2.59 ERA, 1.06 whip. If anybody could duel Skeens, Peralta could be the guy. I mean, he does walk too many guys, 57 to 20 strikeout walk ratios, too many walks, but well below 1 hit per inning allowed, more than 1 strikeout per inning. I mean, he's a guy, yeah, he just has a little bit of wildness like some of these really good pitchers do, but other than that, he's really hard to hit. And yeah, I mean, it strikes out a lot of guys. Pittsburgh has not done too well against him, 101 at bats. 248 average, 753 OPS, though, because he has walked 12 guys, and he has allowed 4 home runs to them. Brian Reynolds specifically does well against him, 12 for 31 with a home run and 4 walks, but also 11 strikeouts. And McCutcheon is actually good against him, too, even though he's getting old or is old, 5 for 14 with a home run. So player prop potential there again. I shout out some of the player props as I go. I don't really play the player props, but I always recommend if you do, find a hitter that just crushes that particular pitcher and go over with his hits plus runs plus RBIs, basically. And then you get to root for something to happen, which is what everybody likes to do anyway, though. And I like that better than total bases because with total bases, if you get a walk, you just lose that at bat completely. Whereas at least if you get a walk with hits plus runs plus RBIs, you could still get a run or an RBI out of it. All right, and then Paul Skeens, I mean, do we need to say anything really? 2.44 ERA, 0.94 whip. Coming off, I believe, an 8-inning complete game on the road at Philadelphia. He had 3 straight road starts. Done pretty well in all of them as well. 9 strikeouts in that game against Philly. Pitched the full game. Fairly efficient, 102 pitches. I mean, that's about what he throws every game. He's a stud. I mean, he's an ace. I mean, what more do you want? I mean, he's just consistent. He had 1 bad start against St. Louis, and other than that, 3 or fewer earned runs in every start. The 3 was against a really tough-hitting Cubs lineup, but if you throw that one out, 2 or fewer earned runs in all of his other starts. 62 to 16 strikeout walk ratio. He actually dipped below 9 strikeouts per 9 innings, but I'll give him a pass on that. Really good strikeout walk ratio, not allowing a lot of home runs, way fewer than 1 hit per inning, only 43 hits and 62 2/3. Paul Skeens, very, very good, obviously. And Milwaukee is 0 for 15 off him with 7 strikeouts. So when they've faced him, he has dominated them. And they do have an 0.62 OPS somehow, though. So I don't know how does that happen if you're 0 for 15 with no walks? Like, was there a hit by pitch? Or I don't understand. Or does reaching base on an error actually count towards OPS? I don't even know. But no, on base percentage is 0.62, so it must have been a hit by pitch, which just doesn't show up in these stats. I guess Skeens must have hit somebody. But other than that, yeah, he's allowed nothing to Milwaukee. So do with that information what you will. Next up, here we go, San Francisco and Washington. This is my other plus 100 money line play on the San Francisco Giants, and I know it's probably going to look public because I don't think anybody really wants a piece of Washington from the public here. San Francisco has the way better record, so it might look public, but I think the thought process is right here. We do see Washington up from -105 to -114 here, so it does concern me a little bit when you have the lesser team as the favorite because the public usually wants to come in opposite that and play the better team as the underdog. But in this case, San Francisco is the better team, and I think there are reasons to like them, even though we are fading probably Washington's best starting pitcher here. I think there are reasons to do this. 64% of tickets, 67% of the cash coming in on San Francisco. And because we're fading Gore here, we're not just including the starting pitching matchup here. We're factoring in the entirety of the situation and the bullpens here, where San Francisco has a major bullpen advantage here. They have one of the best bullpens in baseball, and Washington has one of the absolute worst. So there's a huge bullpen disparity with San Francisco. And not only that, but one of the main reasons for this handicap here is that Washington played an extra innings game yesterday and beat their division rival, the Atlanta Braves, while San Francisco didn't even play yesterday. So not only do you get the better bullpen from San Francisco, but you have a way more rested bullpen. As Washington, I think, used 6 or 7 guys out of the bullpen yesterday. So not a great situation for Washington here. And again, could be a letdown for Washington because they just beat the team that's been dominating the NL East for many years, basically the Braves. I mean, when a team like Washington plays either the Braves or the Mets, I mean, that's always a big deal for them. So I think this is a huge letdown spot. And meanwhile, San Francisco, they're starting a road trip. And usually starting a road trip is a focus spot, but I think it might be more so because they just lost a home series to the Kansas City Royals, and they're coming off losing 8-4 to the Royals. So they're coming off the worst game of that series as well. So I think one of the best things for you, when you lose at home like that, just forget about it, go out on the road, leave home behind. Don't listen to what the media is saying about you. Leave all the distractions of home behind. Just go out on the road, focus on baseball. And they had rest yesterday, so I like the spot for San Francisco a lot here. The starting pitching matchup is actually kind of the one slight drawback here, but I think Raup for San Francisco is good enough to keep us in this game. I know his 1.43 whip is really bad. I understand that. 4.11 ERA is not great either, but he's been in okay form this month, going at least 5 innings in all 3 starts. One was against the Cubs, so I'll give him credit for that. At Wrigley, that's not easy. And then he did face the A's, who can hit pretty well, although it wasn't in their crazy hitting stadium, but he does have a 12-2 strikeout walk ratio this month, which is pretty good. He can fool hitters with his breaking stuff. He's not a guy that comes in and blows hitters away with a fastball, but he does actually have more than 1 strikeout per inning. Problem is he has too many walks, 16, although his strikeout number is so high, a 47-16. Strikeout walk ratio is not even that bad. 50 hits in 46 innings is a problem. He's allowed more than 1 hit per inning, but in the month of May, he's actually allowed fewer than 1 hit per inning. So he might be rounding it to form a little bit here, and he also has not allowed more than 4 earned runs in any start. And in the month of May, he hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in any start. So some signs that he's kind of trending in the right direction as well. So I like all of that. And up against, who are we facing here again? Up against the Washington Nationals. They're 0 for 3 off him, so they haven't seen a whole lot of him. They do have 2 walks off of him and a strikeout, but still, 0 average and 400 OPS. I mean, Raup has done fairly well against them in a limited sample size, and that also means the other of Washington's hitters have not seen him before, and I don't know that Washington's offense is really that great either. So I think Raup is okay. I think he might be able to battle with Gore here. As Gore, even though he does have some really good stats, especially his strikeout stats, he's too wild, man. He's got a 1.3 whip, which is not great. 3.6 ERA is good, but that whip tells me there's something a little bit off here. Yeah, his strikeout number is insane. 25 strikeouts this month and 15 and a third. That's crazy. But he's allowed 9 walks, which is outrageously high, and also 19 hits over that span. So that's not good, even though his strikeout number is really high. So high that his strikeout walk ratio looks okay, but I really don't think he's in great form here, man. He only went past 5 innings once in those last 3 starts. He walked at least 2 in every start. And the 2 was just because he got pulled out of the game after 3 2/3 against Baltimore. He allowed 10 hits and 2 walks in that game, and he somehow only allowed 2 earned runs because he also had 9 strikeouts. I mean, these numbers are absolutely insane. Like, it was like everybody that didn't get a hit off him struck out. It's so crazy, like how literally hit or miss this guy's been. It's insane. His strikeout rate is ridiculous. 84 strikeouts and 56 and a third, yeah. And only 18 walks looks good with a strikeout rate like that. Strikeout walk ratio is insane. He probably has the most strikeouts in the majors right now. But, again, there are some issues with him. And he's allowed too many home runs recently, too. As over the last 4 starts, he's allowed 5 home runs. That's not good either. Still allowed fewer than 1 hit per inning, 55 and 56 and a third. But there's something a little bit off with Gore here, man. I know a lot of the metrics guys have him upper echelon, like as one of the top pitchers, but I think he's starting to fade a little bit. Against San Francisco, 39 at-bats. Yeah, he's held him to a 256 average. That's pretty good, but an 806 OPS because he allowed some hard hits. Again, a couple of home runs, a few other extra base hits, 2 doubles, a triple, 2 walks, 12 strikeouts is good, but other than that, again, it's a lot of strikeouts, but a lot of hits and some walks mixed in there. So really mixed bag, but we're going to go with San Francisco. And the money is coming in on them. 62% of tickets, 66% of the cash now. So I think we might have public and professional agreement on the San Francisco side there. I just like how the situation sets up. And when the starting pitching isn't a total mismatch going against it, and it's possibly going to be at least a duel between the two starting pitchers, and we'll get the full game to come into play here. I like it. I like the situation, playing against a team that played into extra innings and ran out their entire bullpen yesterday versus a team that didn't even play yesterday and is starting a road trip, a focus spot. Give me the San Francisco Giants in that game. Let's keep going, baby. Next up is my last play, at least unless I decide to add another one on the fly. And I'm going to go against the market in this one. I'm going to give out the Tampa Bay Rays on the money line, minus 138 or so. If you wait, you might actually get a better number on this because I don't really see why the market is disagreeing with me here. It's down from minus 145 to minus 138. 62% of tickets, 91% of the cash coming in on Toronto. And Toronto, yeah, they're hot right now, but this is another spot just like the one I just talked about. Toronto just swept San Diego, but not only did they do that, but they had a 14-0 win in Game 2, and then yesterday they won an extra inning, 7-6, and they rolled out a ton of their relief staff as well. Toronto's bullpen not that good to begin with, and they used a ton of relief pitchers here. I think they brought out 7 guys out of their bullpen yesterday, so they are completely used up. They used a ton of their pitchers yesterday, while Tampa Bay didn't even play yesterday, and Tampa Bay's not even traveling, and they're staying at home, while Toronto, coming off a huge sweep of a good San Diego team, now feeling high on themselves, now coming down to Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay is sitting behind them in the division, so I think Tampa Bay is going to have motivation for that reason as well, a couple of games behind. Tampa Bay did just face Toronto, though, and beat them in a series at Toronto, but I don't think revenge is really going to come into play that much here. It doesn't matter that much in baseball. Yes, it matters more in a divisional rivalry, so sure, Toronto might be focused for that reason. But other than that, I mean, I don't see how they will be after that 11-inning game and ridiculous sweep. I like Tampa Bay. They're just sitting at home, kind of just waiting here. They're the way more rested team. Tampa has the better bullpen. I think they just have overall the way better pitching. And yes, Toronto has the better offense now that they've started hitting again. They have some good hitters, but I still think Tampa has the edge here, given the fact they have the better bullpen anyway, in my opinion, and a more rested bullpen. And I think we get the way more proven starter here because with Toronto, Eric Lauer is starting. And sure, he's got a 2.25 ERA and .83 whip, but it's like it's all in short stints. Like he's basically an opener. Like he's been basically a reliever for a while. He's been a starter before, but this year he's kind of like an opener. He comes in, gives you a few innings, comes out, and yes, he's been effective so far with a 14-3 strikeout walk ratio, 7 hits and 12 innings pitched. Did face Detroit, so he did face one pretty good team, but he didn't face them on the road. He did face them at home. The other offenses he faced, I mean, they're so-so. I mean, Boston, Anaheim, I know they started hitting hot, but that was when they were not hitting well. Only pitched a third of an inning anyway there, and then Seattle. So I don't know what we're going to get out of Lauer here, really. But again, he doesn't go that deep into games, and you're talking about a Toronto team that just used almost their entire bullpen yesterday, and they're going to have to go to the bullpen likely early in this game too, or they're going to have to leave Lauer out there. If he's getting shelled, they're going to have to leave him out there to tire out. That's not a good situation for Toronto, man. And up against Tampa Bay, Lauer's numbers are actually not good. It's a small sample size of 18, but he's allowed 7 hits, 5 doubles, 2 home runs, so every hit is an extra base hit. Diaz and Morel both have home runs off him, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. These are terrible numbers for Lauer against Tampa. I get it, small sample size, but 389 average and 1,476 OPS, so that is bad. Whereas Tampa has Rasmussen on the mound, and even though I don't really trust Rasmussen, he's put up good numbers this year. 2.93 ERA, 1 whip, 40-10 strikeout walk ratio is nice. Only 36 hits allowed in 46 innings. Yeah, I mean, he's pitching well. Hasn't allowed more than 4 earned runs in any start, and that was 1 start at Arizona, which is a really difficult park for pitchers to pitch in. It's a good hitter's park. Take that out, he's allowed 3 or fewer in every other start. Coming off a nice 6-inning shutout of Miami, so he kind of returned to form against a weak offense, but still I think that's helping him return to form a little bit after facing 2 tough offenses in Philly and Milwaukee. And Toronto's offense is not as good as Philly or Milwaukee or Arizona for that matter, or the Yankees, who he did okay against, but walked 3 guys against the Yankees. So kind of facing a middle-of-the-pack offense here. But against Toronto, let's look at what his numbers are against Toronto. 80 at-bats, so they've seen a lot of him, but his numbers are actually fairly good, despite, the 7 walks. I mean, that's not great. 3 are George Springer, though, but overall, 250 average and 685 OPS. So Rasmussen has done pretty well against Toronto's lineup. So I don't understand why the money is coming in against Tampa that heavily there. I like Tampa. I mean, maybe the thought is that the line is just too much on them, but I really don't think so. I think it's a good spot. I think it's a really bad spot for Toronto. I think the pitching really is in favor of Tampa there. So Tampa money line there. Josh, what's up, man? That's right. Give me the beat, boys, and free my tone. I want to get lost in this fucking load. I don't know. Something like that. I think I've done that song, actually, on ukulele. It's probably out there somewhere. It's a good song for my vocal range, actually. Dobie Gray. I've done a couple of his songs. I think I've done, The In Crowd. That's a fun song to do as well. I've done that at karaoke, too, because I had, shout out. I hope this guy's still alive, by the way. I used to do karaoke way more than I do now, but I was really on the karaoke scene for a while, in Boston especially. Shout out to Peter. I don't even know if he's still alive. He was this older dude, and the dude was still like taking care of his mother, even though like he wasn't in good health. I think he was like in his 70s, and this was like several years ago at this point, but he stopped showing up to karaoke because I think he was taking care of his elderly mother, which is really crazy. And I think he was coming down to Boston from Maine just to do karaoke. I mean, this guy, I love this guy, man. I just putting in that much effort to do karaoke, and he was a decent singer too. Like he was good with like the crooner songs, and really liked to do Elvis as well. He was really good at Elvis. He had a good like bass, like baritone voice. So shout out to Peter. I hope he's still out there somewhere. I like that guy. But he wanted me to do the In Crowd at karaoke once by Dobie Gray, so I did that for him. Oh, thank you, sir. You enjoyed my uke sessions before. Do you enjoy them during and after the controversy, though? I've been putting up uke covers since then. I mean, I'm not going to stop doing uke. It's just what I do. It's how I kind of I need to do it, man. It's, singing. You'll have certain activities that are just how you kind of like you use it as like a release. You know what I mean? I know some people jerk off. I mean, I do that too, but ukulele is what I usually do. I like to sing mostly. The ukulele is just kind of an easier instrument to pick up and just use that to, like, I actually want to sing, but I'm like, well, I can strum along while I sing, so that's kind of why I do it. All right. Boston, Baltimore, game 2 here. Giolito, again, I talked about him yesterday because he was supposed to pitch yesterday. He's awful. 7.08 ERA, 1.52 whip. He's been horrific in Fenway Park this year. Allowed 6 earned runs in each start. Didn't go more than 4 innings in either at Fenway. Not good. So I would not want to be anywhere near him in a Fenway game right now. Although against Baltimore, good numbers overall. 67 at-bats, 20-1 strikeout walk ratio is really crazy. 10 strikeouts of Ryan O'Hearn. 254 average, 664 OPS overall. And we don't know who Baltimore is going to start in this game, so they might be bringing somebody up because in a doubleheader, you actually are allowed to add, like, I think one guy to the roster to make like a start there, and you could call somebody up and then send them back down. I don't know if they're going to do that or use a bullpen guy. I don't know what they're going to do. So very hard to gauge this, but there's no way I would want to be on Boston with Giolito pitching at home. Oh, thanks, man. Thank you, sir. Thanks for all the kind words, man. The corn one, yeah, for some reason that one fits with the uke pretty well. I mean, I've done a couple other metal ones. I mean, I just did Drowning Pool Bodies, which I really did not like how that one turned out. I capoed it up to 7. The capo was almost flying off the uke because that was the way to play the chords a little bit more easily. I didn't like it at all. And then I've done like Metallica, Saint Anger, which sounds really ridiculous. I think I've done at least one like heavier Slipknot song, if I'm not mistaken. I did Vermilion Part 2 as well, which is way easier. Like that makes sense as an acoustic song because it is anyway. But yeah, whatever. It doesn't allow betting apps outside of Better. What state is it? I don't even know, man. Yeah. Well, you could do offshore. Bookmaker.eu, I think Just Bet. Those sites are still alive. Bovada, I think, might be as well. You could look into it. There are offshore sites. Yeah, California. I'm actually surprised. Why doesn't California... The leftist states basically all are opened up to betting at this point. So what the fuck is going on with California? It's like the only saving grace of the progressive states is that a lot of them allow sports betting. So I don't know what's going on with California. It's the worst of every situation. You're going to have to go to Las Vegas, man. You're going to have to... I don't know how close you are to Nevada. You're going to have to cross the border over there and make some bets. Yeah, obviously. I mean, Gavin Newsom is terrible. You win some, you knew some. All right. Cleveland and Detroit. These guys played yesterday, and I almost wanted to give out Cleveland as a play on the show yesterday because I liked Tanner Bibby more than I liked Flaherty. And Cleveland won easy. They won 7-0. Bibby had a really good start for Cleveland yesterday. And I like Cleveland again in this game, actually, with Slade Ciccone pitching, even though I would have some hesitations because I don't really want to play against Detroit at home. Detroit is really, really good at home right now. And what's their home record right now? They're one of the most dominant home teams, 17-6. But there is a little bit of a caveat to it where Detroit has been beating up on a lot of bad teams so far this season. So I do think we're going to see a little bit of regression for Detroit as the season goes on. So I still do like Cleveland in this game. I just don't quite want to fade Detroit at home or fade Detroit off of a 7-0 loss. I think Detroit might be a little bit angry and show up focused here. As far as the starting pitching matchup, though, I do like Cleveland. Slade Ciccone is pitching. They got him this year. He was on Arizona before. His 5.4 ERA looks bad, but his start actually wasn't that bad. He has a 1 whip. He actually had an 8-0 strikeout walk ratio, and he pitched a great American ballpark, and he gave up a home run. He gave up 3 runs in 5 innings. So I would say that was actually basically a quality start out of him, even though his ERA doesn't look good because of it. And that was not an easy task, man. I mean, your first start as a member of your new team, you have to go play in that hitter-friendly park and Great American Ballpark. He did well, so I think he's going to do well again here. And Detroit, only Torres has ever seen him before. He's 0 for 1 off him. So he's a decent young pitcher who also has the advantage of not having been seen before. I would dial it back a little bit just because he really struggled for Arizona last year with a 6.66 ERA, 6.66, that's not good. 1.42 whip, that's an evil ERA. But his strikeout walk numbers were good last year, 64-17, so he just allowed way too many hits, well over 1 per inning. He was just getting knocked around, so he was leaving it over the plate way too much, so he's got to not do that. So we'll see what he's able to do here, but at least he's out of Chase Field, which is not an easy place to pitch. The year before that, though, his rookie year, he had a 1.15 whip, only 4 starts, though. Last year, he had 13. So we'll see what he could do, but I kind of like Ciccone in this start. Oh, God, I got to get the Giolito tab out of there. I don't want to see that guy anymore. Jackson Jobe pitching for Detroit. I mean, yeah, he's been doing decent. 4.12 ERA, 1.45 whip. Detroit has not lost a single start of his so far, even though he's only 4-0, and he hasn't pitched that well in some of these starts. But Detroit is, what are they now? 8-0 in Jobe's starts. So there are only 2 starters, I think, that is the case right now, where their team has not lost any game when they've been on the mound. And it's Jackson Jobe and it's Robbie Ray on San Francisco. I think they won again with him on the mound, if I'm not mistaken. Did they lose one finally? I'm not even sure. But it was those 2 at least, up until very recently. The 2, and they're both alliterative names, JJ and RR. But still, I don't think we could trust Jackson Jobe, man. I mean, that is a reason to not want to really jump in on Cleveland here. And I mean, I think Ciccone is still a little bit of an unknown. And Jobe, they keep winning behind him, but still, he's had some bad starts in here. And yeah, sure, we can give him a pass for the one at Coors Field, which they still won in extra innings, but he didn't pitch well there, but that's Coors Field. Has had a couple of other ugly starts, though, at Houston. But he's been good at home for the most part. So, yeah, I mean, I don't quite want to fade him at home. 2.3 ERA at home compared to 5.32 on the road. But overall, his numbers don't really, they don't jive with me. 1.45 whip, using another J word there. 4.12 ERA is okay. 1.45 whip is awful. Like, it really makes no sense that the team would have won every one of his starts so far with numbers that bad. I mean, you cannot put 1.5 men on base an inning and get away with it. 32-22 strikeout walk ratio is abysmal, and he's allowed fewer than 1 hit per inning, which is good, but that walk number is bad. I mean, he's not a huge strikeout guy, so I am expecting regression from Job, and Cleveland has only seen a little bit of him. They're 1 for 3 off him, and that's about it. So what can you really take away from that? Not much, but slightly into Cleveland in that game. Let me see. And it looks like the money is very strongly actually agreeing with me on Cleveland. Detroit down from -145 to -115. 89% of tickets, only 56% on the cash. Strong market indicators, man. Do we want to add another play here and go with Cleveland here? Oh, man. I got to stay away from that one, I think. But, man, very, very tempting to do that. Very tempting. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, so definitely a lean on Cleveland. That's one of the stronger leans today. Dodgers, Mets. This is a good series about to start here. Both teams were off yesterday, but we got two pitchers who I think you don't know what you're going to get out of these guys. Clayton Kershaw is trying to make his comeback. I don't know if he's good anymore, man. We don't know yet. I mean, kind of like Justin Verlander, although Kershaw's not as old as Verlander. But he's trying to come back from injury. Didn't have a good start against Anaheim, who's not a good hitting team. But can we really take that much away from a first start of the season? Like, is he going to start getting better again? He might, because obviously his entire career he has been good. I mean, he's going to be a Hall of Fame pitcher. So it's really, really hard to gauge what we're going to get out of him. And of course, if you look at his career numbers against the Mets, they're going to be good because he's Kershaw. 77%. I mean, not definitively, but yes, that is the case. 77 at bats, 26-5 strikeout walk ratio. Crazy. 169 average, 444 OPS. So Kershaw has indeed been really good against them, but you have to weigh these factors here. Like, is Kershaw still even good? That's the main question you have to answer here. And if he is, he'll probably give you a good outing. But if he isn't, then you're going to be in trouble. So I was in trouble. I actually played the first game, Kershaw coming back. I actually liked that spot with the veteran pitcher coming back, but I don't think we can do it. And then Griffin Canning on the other side, I still don't like this guy. 2.47 ERA is quite good, but 1.29 whip, not good. But again, he's kind of like David Peterson now, the right-handed version of David Peterson, where he's a guy who you don't think should be doing as well as he is because his whip is always like way too high. But he still keeps getting away with it, and you don't know how. And Canning, yeah, he was terrible when he was on Anaheim. Anaheim's pitching coaches are way worse than the Mets pitching coaches are. So, again, it's a mixed bag. Like, what are you going to get out of Canning? I don't know. He's in good form recently, though, with a 15-3 strikeout walk ratio this month. He's gone at least 5 innings in all 3 starts, facing Arizona on the road, the Cubs at home, and the Yankees on the road, not allowing more than 2 runs in any of those starts. That is good. 15-3 strikeout walk ratio and fewer than 1 hit per inning in that span, too, against 3, like, basically elite offensive teams. I mean, that is crazy. So Canning, maybe not really a guy that you want to fade. I mean, even though I have tried to fade him. 46-17 strikeout walk ratio overall is not that good, though. Again, that's too many walks. I mean, fewer than 1 hit per inning is always good, but walking that many guys is not good. So, again, I don't know what we're going to get out of either pitcher here, to be honest. And Canning is facing now a 4th straight elite offense. And yes, he's done well in the previous 3. What's going to happen here? We don't know. Against the Dodgers, 48 at bats. He has a 12-7 strikeout walk ratio, which isn't very good. 4 home runs allowed to all different batters. That's not good. 271 average, 968 OPS. Very high OPS against the Dodgers. So Canning hasn't done well when he's faced the Dodgers in the past. So what are we going to get out of him? We don't know. And based on those recent performances, even though they were good, he was still out of the game after like 5 innings, 5 1/3 innings or whatever. So the Mets are probably going to be turning over to their bullpen, although their bullpen is good. Dodgers' bullpen should be good as well, but they've been struggling recently. So I think the Mets actually probably have the upper hand in the bullpen department, and then you got to give the Dodgers the nod as far as the hitting. But both teams have good hitting as well. So very, very difficult to gauge this game for me. It's just a complete mystery. I don't know. But we do see the Mets are actually a public home underdog here. So usually you never want to be on a public home underdog, man. 62% of tickets and only 59% of the cash, with the Dodgers up a little bit from -105 to -106. And a lot of money coming in the under as well, it looks like. 88% of the tickets on the over, but 67% of the cash on the under. So it looks like market read is Dodgers and under in that game. But again, it remains to be seen. We will see. But with the Dodgers, I think they are starting a road trip, so that is usually a focus spot So that is also something to keep in mind. While I believe the Mets are returning home from a road trip, although they only went to Boston. I mean, they stayed in New York and then went to Boston. Really not a long road trip there. I usually like to point out when a team returns home from a road trip, they usually are in a distracted spot. But for the Mets, a little bit less so probably, especially, I mean, you're playing the Dodgers. You're not going to be distracted. But the Dodgers are leaving home with a little bit of momentum. So I think they're in a positive spot. You're usually focused when you start a road trip. Possibly the reason for some of the money there, but it seems like the professional bettors, with the market read being on the Dodgers and the under, they actually think you're going to get a good start out of Kershaw here. So it remains to be seen. I think the way to do it is to stay on the sidelines here, though. You have a good one as well, sir. Nate, what's up, man? Yeah, that's right. I'm live in the mornings, baby. What's up, my man? Let's try to get this done. This is a longer video here because I'm taking my time here. I got to get through all these baseball games, man. Even though I don't even think I'm gonna have any more plays here. San Diego, Atlanta. I mean, this is a big matchup here, man. Because did Atlanta already play San Diego this year? Let me see. I felt like they did, but maybe they didn't. I guess not. So this is San Diego eliminated Atlanta from the playoffs last year, right? Yeah. So this is a big game for Atlanta, man, because it's a revenge spot for Atlanta because San Diego was the team that eliminated them from the playoffs last year. So big game for Atlanta. The problem is, well, Atlanta played yesterday, although both teams actually played yesterday. So that's kind of a wash, actually. Both teams played in extra innings yesterday. But I think Atlanta's spot is maybe a little bit worse because they are returning home from a road trip where they went to Boston and then Washington. I always say the return home from the road trip, you have to get back to family life a little bit. You tend to be a little bit distracted. But I think facing the team that eliminated you and ended your season last year probably is going to still have you focused. So I don't think Atlanta's not going to be focused when they're facing San Diego. So I think you could throw that out a little bit. Both teams used a lot of relief pitchers yesterday, so very difficult to gauge what's going to happen here with the bullpen. San Diego does have the better bullpen overall, but again, with a ton of bullpen usage yesterday, I think Atlanta's was actually even more usage than San Diego's, though. So I think we can't just rely on it being a revenge spot to just come in and make a play on Atlanta. I think there are too many other factors here. San Diego coming down from Toronto, which is not, the greatest travel spot, I guess. Nick Pivetta pitching for San Diego. He's having a really good season. 2.86 ERA, 0.99 whip. In decent form this season. He had one bad start at Coors Field, but I would kind of give him a pass on that because it is Coors Field. 17-7 strikeout walk ratio overall, 5.4 ERA, but I still think he's in decent form coming into this game, in my opinion. But he did already face the Braves. Wait a minute. I thought they didn't play each other. They did, right? So I'm mistaken. So the San Diego did beat them in the opening game of the season. So what am I looking at here? Why did I not see that on the schedule? Wait a minute. Yeah, that's what I thought. But San Diego swept Atlanta. That's right. Atlanta started off losing a ton of games in a row, and San Diego started off winning a ton of games in a row. So it's an even bigger revenge spot for Atlanta here because they got swept to open the season by San Diego, so they still haven't beaten them. So Atlanta is going to be focused here, but it's just, is it the right spot? I don't know. And Pivetta against Atlanta, let me see here. 147 at bats. They've seen a lot of them. They have 11 home runs off him, which is crazy, but 6 of them are Ozuna. So again, player props. He's only 8 for 31 off him, though, but 6 home runs, 14 RBIs, and 9 strikeouts. So it's literally hit or miss for Ozuna against Pivetta. And Arcia actually has really good numbers against him. 7 for 11 with 2 home runs. Overall, only a 224 average, though, and a 37-9 strikeout walk ratio for Pivetta against San Diego. 224 average allowed. 737 OPS is a little bit high because of all those home runs. But overall, he's done decent. Only a couple of those guys on Atlanta really hit him, and he's having to go up against Chris Sale, who is pitching well this season, but he is definitely, an older pitcher now. 1.35 whip, not really as good as what he was doing last year. 3.62 ERA, that whip is definitely too high. Has a 26-6 strikeout walk ratio and a 1.4 ERA this month, though, so I think he is still in good form. He's racking up a ton of strikeouts, well over 1 per inning this month, fewer than 1 hit per inning. Just tons of strikeouts, 72 and 54 and 2/3 overall, but he's been a little bit too hittable. 59 hits in that span over the entire season, so too many hits. He's allowed more than 1 hit per inning. Strikeout walk ratio is really good, 72-15. So overall, yeah, he is good, but that whip is a little bit, it's definitely something to at least keep an eye on. Up against San Diego, 144 at bats, 42-9 strikeout walk ratio, 264 average, 717 OPS. So his numbers are kind of mediocre, I would say, against San Diego. San Diego does have good hitters. They've seen a lot of Sale, and they've been okay against Sale. So what do you do with this game? I mean, Atlanta's a huge favorite, probably because you're paying a tax for Chris Sale, and maybe because the revenge might even be factored in a little bit, but they're up from minus 132 to minus 178 now. So I don't know. Does that mean San Diego has some, like, big hitters that are not playing in this game? I don't really understand why the line has moved to that extent. Public seems to like Atlanta, 77% of tickets, but 91% of the cash also on Atlanta. So money's coming in on Atlanta. Cash percentage also on the under. 69% of tickets on the over, 51% of the cash on the under. But again, I hesitate on the under. It is 8, which is, you know, I mean, it's not a ridiculously low number. You do have 2 pitchers that could come out there and really, you know, ball out and pitch well, but I would not want any part of the bullpens after these teams played yesterday. So I would make it a first 5-inning under if I was going to look towards an under in that game. But I don't know what to do with that game, to be honest. So I think it's a stay away for me. Texas at Chicago White Sox. The White Sox were off yesterday, so the White Sox have some rest here. They're staying at home, too, so it is a pretty positive spot for the White Sox. Texas just they lost to the Yankees 1-0. They just got swept by the Yankees. They were locked in a battle against the Yankees yesterday. Used a couple of relievers, but not really a lot. So they didn't really overuse their bullpen yesterday, but still, Texas did play yesterday while Chicago did not. So the White Sox do have a little bit of an advantage for that reason. Tyler Mahle pitching, though, and I still can't figure this guy out for Texas. 1.47 ERA, 0.98 whip. You got to think at some point he can't continue doing this. Because, I mean, 40-18 strikeout walk ratio is kind of whatever. I mean, that's not great. 36 hits in 55 innings is definitely good. Only 2 home runs a lot. He's been really hard to hit. But he doesn't even come in and strike guys out. So the fact that he's not allowing a lot of hits is just crazy. He's getting guys to make contact and hit into outs, which seems a little bit dangerous to me, man. I don't understand how he continues to do this. He hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in any start this entire season. So, I mean, you probably don't want to fade him when he's up against the White Sox. 26 at-bats against them. They're 2 for 26 with 16 strikeouts against him and 1 walk and 0.77 average and 226 OPS. That's insane, man. Absolutely ridiculous. So I don't think you can come in and fade Mahle here. I mean, his numbers are just too dominant. I mean, that strikeout rate that he has against the White Sox is crazy. And then, of course, Burke is pitching for the White Sox, and I don't think he's a guy you can put your money on. 1.52 whip is awful. 4.69 ERA, not good either. He's not in good form this month. More walks than strikeouts, 16-13. 16 walks, 13 strikeouts. Full season, 33-27 strikeout walk ratio. Really bad. 9 home runs allowed, really bad. Fewer than 1 hit per inning is fine, but no. I mean, I don't think you want anything to do with Burke, although Texas basically hasn't seen him before. Higashioka is 0 for 2 off him, but the rest of their hitters have never seen him before. But I don't think it matters. I mean, usually I'll say, yeah, a young pitcher does have the advantage against the lineups that haven't seen him before, but in this case, I really don't think so. Yes, I told Nate that I'm sorry. I mentioned it again last night. I feel bad about that. I yelled at him over the Deflategate, which I am very fired up about that because my seething hatred of the Patriots conquers all. I still am right about that, by the way, but yes, I apologize. I don't want to lose, like, loyal viewers, man. Nate is one of my best viewers, especially during football season. I apologize. Dude, I lost my mind then. I mean, it's not an excuse, but a lot of times I have other stuff going on in my life as well, and I just, I lose my mind a little bit, man. I'm sorry. I apologize. I will continue to do so. Thanks for hanging out, Nate. Thanks for not leaving me after that. Against Tyler Hardar, though, during Tower Game the other night, I do still stand by yelling at that guy. Nate is, I love Nate, and I do not like that Tyler guy. Is it Tyler? Whatever that guy's name was. But yeah, I love Nate. JC, thanks for hanging out, man. All right, let me see here. Kansas City, Minnesota. This is a tough game to read as well. Noah Cameron pitching for Kansas City, very young guy, off to a good start in his rookie campaign here for the most part. 0.71 ERA, 0.63 whip, but 6-5 strikeout walk ratio is not good. That walk rate is ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous. He's only allowed 3 hits in 12 2/3 innings. So he's really almost allowed nothing as far as hits are concerned, but he's walked too many guys for my liking. So we'll see what he does. He did go 6 1/3 in each game. Pretty efficient with his pitches. Threw about 80 pitches in both starts. That's pretty good. Faced a couple of lineups that aren't the greatest in Tampa Bay and St. Louis. St. Louis is okay. So we'll see if he can continue. But I don't really think I could trust him with his walk rate. Minnesota, of course, has never seen him. So again, he might have the upper hand there a little bit facing a lineup that's never seen him. Pablo Lopez, on the other hand, I mean, he's a proven very good starter from Minnesota. 2.4 ERA, 0.93 whip. In very good form this month with a 23-5 strikeout walk ratio in 17 innings, only allowing 9 hits against the Orioles, who suck, but then San Francisco and the Brewers. So got to give him credit for that. And Lopez pitching quite well. I think that Brewers one, but that might have been the I don't remember which game. Was that the last game of their win streak? It was one of those ones. Because I remember I was on the Brewers, and I was on the game that busted Minnesota's win streak. But Pablo Lopez, definitely good. Up against Kansas City here. They've seen a lot of them, 126 at-bats because they're in the same division. But 38-5 strikeout walk ratio. Yeah, they do have 5 home runs off him, so they have been able to get some hard hits off him. But overall, he's held them to 206 batting average. Held them to a 206 batting average at 618 OPS. So Lopez does have good numbers there. I would lean to the under in this one, but you're banking on Cameron actually coming out and pitching well, and the money is disagreeing with me there. And it looks like the books are, or the money, the way the money's coming in is kind of telling you they're expecting Cameron to not be that good as Minnesota. Maybe Cameron was a late announcement, and that's why this game is up from -145 to -185. Maybe that's why the line moved like that on Minnesota, because I don't think that was legitimate movement with 80% of the tickets and only 73% of the cash on Minnesota. I think Kansas City probably had another listed starter, and now they've switched it to Cameron, would be my guess, which the books then move the line way in favor of Minnesota, so they're telling you they don't really trust Cameron. 53% of tickets on the under, 88% of the cash on the over. So the money coming in on the over, which kind of surprises me. I mean, you got Pablo Lopez. I'm almost never going to play an over in a Pablo Lopez game, so I would not really agree with that, but we'll see. Seattle, Houston, I mean, this looks ugly to me, man. Emerson Hancock, whoops, my apologies. Emerson Hancock, I mean, he's a guy, I don't think you trust him at all. 6.21 ERA, 1.68 whip. He had a really bad first start of the season, then he was kind of rolling, then he had another bad start, but yeah, sure, the majority of his starts have actually been somewhat good, but overall, I mean, his numbers aren't great. He's allowed 11 more hits than innings pitched. Basically, that's not good. 7 home runs in 33 1/3 innings, 44 hits. None of that is very good. Only 25 strikeouts, 12 walks. The walk rate is too high. I mean, yeah, he's still just putting way too many men on base overall. I don't like it. And against Houston, very small sample size, but they're 4 for 9 off him. 444 average, 889 OPS, so I don't love that either. They're all singles, and I think they had 1 strikeout in there as well, but I don't love that. Hancock has not really been getting the job done. Ryan Gusto, I don't know what we're going to get out of him, man, because he's been in and out of the starting rotation for the Astros, but when he starts, it's been a mixed bag. He's gone 5 innings a couple of times. Some of his other starts have been more of like an opener start where he only goes a couple of innings, and they decide to switch it up. But he really has not been good overall, though. But a lot of it, yeah, it's skewed by that one really bad game against Kansas City. But that's not great because Kansas City's not a good offense. And he actually didn't do well against the White Sox either. White Sox not a good offense either. And the defense let him down in that game. All the runs were unearned. But still, overall, this month, 7 walks to 3 strikeouts in 4 innings, plus 9 hits allowed on top of that. Gusto is not getting the job done right now. Not pitching with a lot of gusto. 4.65 ERA, 1.52 whip. None of that is good. Against Seattle, they're only 0 for 2 off him with a walk from Arozarena, so not a whole lot you can gain from that, but I don't love any of this, man, so I would probably be leaning to an over in this game. And I know like the Astros have a pretty good bullpen, but I think both bullpens got somewhat used up yesterday as well, so I think the over would make sense here. You got 53% of the tickets on the under, but 88% of the cash on the over. So I do agree with the cash percentage there, and the total's gone up from 7 highly juiced to the over to 7.5, highly juiced to the over. Really, it's at about 8, I would say. So I think over the 8 would probably be the way I would look in that. Or wait, what am I looking at here? No, that was Kansas City. What am I saying? I agree with the under in the Kansas City game, or I disagree with the market in that. What am I looking? I'm looking at the wrong game. I apologize. This one has 71. This one disagrees with me too. This one has 71% of tickets on the over and 76% of the cash on the under. Because I was going to say, I thought this total was at 8.5, not 8. It is at 8.5, but it looks like the money's coming in the under. I don't agree with that. I don't see it. I think both pitchers are certainly, susceptible here and liable to be lit up. And then you could get the bullpens in there. Who knows? I mean, both bullpens are fine, but they're both used up after yesterday. So I don't agree with the cash percentage in either of those games I just talked about. I would actually lean to the over in that game. Thanks, Nate. 4 a.m. your time. Yeah, I'm doing it a little bit later now, but still, yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, depends what I do with my life from now on, when the show is going to be on. So, yeah. All right, let's get through this, man. This is going to be one of the longer videos here. We only got a few games. Arizona, St. Louis. I like the over in this game too, man. I mean, even though neither team played yesterday, but Arizona's bullpen is not good. St. Louis's bullpen hasn't been great either. I don't think so. Even though the teams were off yesterday, they do have rested bullpens. So I don't quite love the over here, but that's still probably the way I would look. Zach Gallen is pitching, and he has not been good this year for Arizona. 5.14 ERA, 1.38 whip. Not good numbers. And against St. Louis, his numbers are actually pretty awful in 48 at-bats. 40 at-bats, 3 home runs allowed to 3 different batters. 325 average and 978 OPS. So Gallen has not done well against St. Louis. Mikolas is pitching for St. Louis. He's actually starting to pitch a little bit better. 3.77 ERA, 1.21 whip. He's actually getting a little bit better, but even still, what does better really mean, though? Well, he's allowed 0 earned runs in 3 of his last 5, and he only allowed 3 and 1 earned run in the other 2, but most of them were against some kind of weak offenses. One of them was a Great American Ballpark, though, so I'll give him credit for those games at Atlanta, at Cincinnati. He is definitely improving, but still a 10-6 strikeout walk ratio this month is still too many walks. It doesn't really inspire confidence in me here. Overall, 27-15 on the season is a strikeout walk ratio. Hasn't allowed a lot of hits, 40 and 45 and 30, and he's pitched 2 home runs, so he's really kept the long ball down, even though he allows a lot of fly balls. So I don't know how he's kept the long ball down with a very skewed fly ball ground ball ratio. So I don't really see that. It seems like he would be susceptible to the home run. Against Arizona, his numbers are okay in 43 at-bats, but he's allowed 3 home runs, 2 to Suarez, by the way. So again, player prop alert there, 6 for 14 with 2 home runs, 3 walks. Overall, he has 7 strikeouts and 4 walks, although 3 of the walks are Suarez, like I just said. Against Arizona, 256 average overall is not bad. 808 OPS is not great, though, from Mikolas. So I think I lean to the over in that game as well. Where's it at? And it looks like I do have agreement on that one, even though the public is on the over. It's up from 8 juice to the over, 8.5 juice to the over. 87% of tickets, 92% of the cash coming in on the over. So there is some agreement there on that one. Yankees get to play Colorado as they get a really easy series here. They do have to go out into elevation here, though, and Clark Schmidt is starting for the Yankees, so he's kind of a mixed bag. I mean, 4.41 ERA, 1.29 whip, mediocre numbers. I mean, I don't think he's that trustworthy. He had a 5.5 strikeout walk ratio in his last outing. He's still walking way too many guys. A 30-17 strikeout walk ratio over the season. Not good at all. Fewer than 1 hit per inning is good, but a lot of walks. More than 1 walk every 2 innings, not good. Although Colorado, against them, he's held them to an 0 for 9 clip with 3 strikeouts. So Colorado has done no damage to him at all so far, but small sample size, and he's pitching in Coors Field now. I didn't go back to look to see if he's pitched at Coors Field before because I just didn't want to make any plays on this game. Tanner Gordon is pitching for the Rockies. His numbers are not good. 5.68 ERA, 1.58 whip, although he's only made 1 appearance, and it actually wasn't that bad. His numbers make it look pretty bad, but, I mean, the 9 hits wasn't good and 6 1/3, but 4-1 strikeout walk ratio and only 4 hits allowed against a good Detroit Tigers team. That's not really the worst. I mean, not a horrible start there, really. Overall, though, on his career, I mean, his career numbers are quite bad. He's only made 9 appearances ever, 9 starts. Of course, it's not easy to pitch in Coors Field, but his numbers are just bad overall. 8.19 ERA, ridiculous. 1.7 WHIP. All that's bad, although a 30-7 strikeout walk ratio is actually good. He's just allowed a ridiculous amount of hits, 62 hits in 40 2/3 over his career. So he's just been way too hittable because it looks like he can strike guys out. And, he doesn't walk that many guys. So we'll see what happens with Gordon. I think he has little to no experience against the Yankees. I mean, I could look real quick, and I have to type it in because he's been off the roster again. He's coming back. Yeah, so the Yankees have never seen him before, but still, can you really trust that guy? Probably not. I mean, it's probably an over or nothing else in that game. I mean, it's the standard Coors Field. Yeah, I mean, either you kind of go over, you just don't play it. Although, again, I don't agree with the cash percentage. 82% of tickets on the over, 66% of the cash on the under. Whatever, man. The total's down from 12 juice to the over to 11.5 juice to the over. But again, when you see a high total like that, it's that high for a reason. And usually you only want to go over when it's that high. But again, you do have one pitcher who's never been seen before by the opposing lineup. You have one pitcher who does have good numbers in a small sample size against the opposing lineup. Miami at Anaheim. I mean, how can Anaheim keep this up, man? This is a bad spot for Anaheim. They're returning home from a long road trip, although they stayed in California, but it was a 3-series road trip where they only lost 2 games in the opening series to San Diego, and since then they've won every game, sweeping the Dodgers in 3 games, and then a 4-game sweep of the A's. Ridiculous. And now they're returning back home. But again, as I usually say, when you return home, even though, sure, I mean, they were probably hanging around, with their families and whatever when they were playing in the Dodgers series because you're just right up the road. So it really wasn't like, I don't think it was the typical, really long road trip. So I don't think there's as much we could take away from that. But as I usually do say, when a team does return home from a road trip, usually they're a little bit distracted. And I do think it is still a bit of a letdown spot for the Angels because they're not as good as this. They can't continue playing like this, man, in my opinion. So I don't know what we're going to get out of the Angels here, but at some point, this hot run has to end. But is it going to end here against Miami? I'm not so sure. Miami's coming off losing a couple of games to the Cubs. They didn't play yesterday, though. So I think Miami was off yesterday, and Anaheim played yesterday. And Anaheim had a crazy 10-5 game at that ridiculous A's ballpark, and Anaheim used 4 of their relief pitchers, so the rest edge goes to Miami as well here because the A's not only returning home, but they played yesterday while Miami was off, and Miami's now starting a road trip, so that's usually a focus spot. So normally I would like Miami here, but the problem is, can you put your money on Alcantara here, who used to be a really, really good pitcher, and he just has not returned to form from injury, man, unfortunately. 7.99 ERA, 1.61 WHIP on the season. I don't know if we could trust him, man. I mean, he is starting to pitch, I guess, a little bit better, but 15-6 strikeout walk ratio this month, but still 7.47 ERA. That's not really going to cut it. That's not going to get it done. His strikeout walk ratio has gotten better, though, because overall it's 34-23, which is awful, and more than 1 hit per inning. So, I mean, that's still the case in the month of May, but he's getting a little bit better. He had his worst start was against the Dodgers. You give him a pass for that, but again, he hasn't made it 6 innings in any of the starts. He's allowed at least 4 runs in all the starts, so he's still not really pitching that well. So I don't think we could trust Alcantara. Up against Anaheim, good numbers in 39 at bats, 231 average against Anaheim and 670 OPS. So Alcantara historically has good numbers against him, but in his current state, I don't know that we can really play on him. And Kikuchi, I mean, his 3.50 ERA looks good for the Angels, but 1.44 WHIP tells a different story. He's not actually been doing that well, but his problems have basically all come on the road. So I don't know if you want to fade him at home, man. He's always been a way better pitcher at home. Even though he's pitched on numerous different teams, he's just always better at home. 1.65 ERA this season at home, 4.3 on the road. So big-time splits there. So you don't really want to fake Kikuchi at home. The Marlins they only have 3 guys who have seen him before, and they're 2 for 10 off him lifetime with 2 strikeouts, 200 average, 400 OPS. So Kikuchi doesn't really seem like the spot where you really want to fade him, even though he isn't pitching that well right now as far as the fact that he's walking too many guys. Although his strikeout rate is actually really good, 22 in 22 and a third this month, but 8 walks is definitely high. Overall, 50-26. I mean, again, not a great ratio. Too many walks, but not allowing that many hits, really. So I don't think we could fade him here. The line has dropped from -165 to -155, so it looks like some money is coming in on Miami. I think the situational spot does dictate Miami. 88% of tickets and 96% of the cash on Anaheim. So the cash percentage is on them, but they are public, and the lines move against them, so we'll see what happens. And then Philadelphia, I mean, they obviously have an advantage here with Zach Wheeler on the mound here at the A's. Both teams actually played yesterday. Philadelphia beat Colorado, coming off a sweep, whereas Oakland is coming off getting swept, or excuse me, the homeless A's just got swept by the Angels, and they're staying at home. But with Philly, you always have to worry, or with road teams, you always have to worry about how is their pitcher going to do in this crazy hitting stadium. But then again, the A's seem to constantly lose in the stadium. They have a terrible home record this year, which is just crazy to me, because you think they would be the team that gets used to it because they keep playing there. I think the A's probably used more of their bullpen than Philadelphia did yesterday, although I could check, actually. The A's used at least, I think, about 4 relief pitchers yesterday. Phillies used a little bit less than that, I think. They used 3, but they used some of their better relievers to finish that game off against Colorado. So spot-wise, I don't think it's great for Philadelphia. I mean, the bullpen rest edge isn't really huge in favor of one team or the other. Philadelphia's bullpen actually isn't really that good either, and the A's bullpen kind of stinks. Even though they have some talented arms there, they have not been good this year. Zach Wheeler obviously has the upper hand in the starting pitching matchup, though. I mean, he's the ace for Philadelphia. 2.67 ERA, 0.89 whip, 23-3 strikeout walk ratio in the month of May, going 6 innings or more in all 3 starts, 10 hits in 20 innings. Granted, it was against Tampa, Cleveland, Pittsburgh. Not, great offenses, but still, he's in really good form right now. An 80-12 strikeout walk ratio on the season is insane. Only 45 hits allowed in 64 innings. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball right now. One of the highest strikeout rates, very low hit rate, very low walk rate. Allowed 8 home runs, which isn't that great, but everything else really good about Wheeler. Really good numbers against the A's, 2-33 at bats, 182 average allowed, 592 OPS. So he's been good against the A's as well historically, but will he do well in this park? Remains to be seen, but he is obviously the more trustworthy pitcher over Jeffrey Springs, who hasn't been that bad for the A's. 3.91 ERA, 1.25 whip. I mean, that's okay. Decent this month, only 15 hits allowed in 24 2/3 innings is pretty good, including a 1-run, 7-inning performance at the Dodgers. So that does show you that, yeah, I mean, he's getting the job done at least. 14-5 strikeout walk ratio. He's been pitching pretty well this month, actually, and he was significantly worse leading into this month. This month, a 1.46 ERA, so he's been pitching a lot better. Overall, 41-21 strikeout walk ratio isn't that great. He's not really a strikeout guy. His fly ball rate is terrible. 113 fly balls. Might be the most in the majors, man. So you got to worry about that. And he's allowed 7 home runs. It could be even worse than that. Given the fact that he pitches in this ballpark, I don't know how he's getting away with a fly ball rate like that, because you'd think more of those things would just be sailing out of the park. But he has allowed fewer than 1 hit per inning at least. But overall, I think, yeah, you got to trust Wheeler a little bit more. But Springs against Philly, they're 2 for 12 off him with a 167 average of 500 OPS. So it almost seems crazy to think, but I mean, the way to play this might actually be the under in the first 5 innings and expect the starting pitchers to kind of hold the opposing lineups down a little bit. And then you don't really want anything to do with the bullpens. Like I already mentioned, neither bullpen is good. And they're both, somewhat used after yesterday. But both starting pitchers seem to have a little bit of an edge here, in my opinion. And they're both in decent form. 59% of tickets, 66% of the cash on the over, though. So it's disagreeing with me a little bit. Line at 9.5, juice to the under. A little bit of that juice is gone now. So I'm disagreeing with the market a lot. But that's that. I mean, I think under first 5 innings probably be the way to go. And you could probably find it like, at a 4.5 or something like that. But that's going to do it. So the plays I've given out on the show today, which I'm not actually betting, unfortunately, or fortunately, if they lose it. Hopefully I give you guys some good analysis and some winners here. Edmonton in the hockey game at a nice plus 100 underdog price. WNBA, Seattle Storm minus the points. Probably have to get it at about 5.5 now. MLB, we got the San Francisco Giants plus 100 as an underdog. Cincinnati Reds also plus 100, slight underdog. And Tampa Bay Rays minus 138. That's going to do it. Let's have a good one. Tower Game Toad on Twitter. Go add to my fundraiser if you can to help me bridge the gap here. GiveSendGo.com/TowerGangToad. I was on InfoWars American Journal a couple of days ago. I was on Elijah Schaefer's, I think his news show, the Rift show, whatever. I apologize. I don't know what the show is called yesterday. The Rift TV show, whatever it is. I think he aired it last night. I recorded yesterday with him. So if it didn't air yesterday, it will air today. So go check that out as well. Patreon.com/TowerGang to support Tower Gang, and go get Bohemian Grove tickets because they are running out, and you'll get to see us live in less than a month now in Leesburg, Florida in late June. That's going to do it. Tower Gang Toad. And we just did a Tower Gang episode on Wednesday. I'll be getting that one up to the Patreon feed soon. And that's going to do it. Peace out, guys. Have a good day. Let's get some winners. Let's have a good Friday. Peace.